Hey guys, this is Gloria, and we are live, and I get to be here with Mickey Stonier. Mickey Stonier is actually my chaplaincy trainer, but before we get started, I want to check some of our audios, and I want to kind of get this shared into some of our areas here, guys. So we're going to go here. And here we are. Live, and I get to be here with Mickey. We're going to share this to here. And we're all good to go. All right. So I'm here today, and I was so excited to get this interview in. And as you know, you guys have followed me around for so many years. You guys know me from being a former pastor and things, and you know that I share a lot of my journey online with you because I want to give people hope, and I want you guys to see what it looks like to go through a journey of healing and hope and where all the great resources are and stuff. And you guys all know that I always recommend the Rock Church for resources because it is a gold mine of resources. Well, you know, one of those resources that I found was the chaplaincy ministry here at the Rock Church where we are today, and I'm here with the great Mickey Stonier.
I don't know about great, the old Mickey Stonier. So,
and I, Mickey, I'm really honored to have you today. Actually,
yeah, it's a blessing. And you're recording this?
It is recorded. We're live now. You're good to go.
I got to be careful what I say. I can get away with live things, but okay.
Yes. So there's going to be, you know, people, you know, on the live today possibly, or like on the replay as well, and then onto other different platforms. But I was so happy to have you here today because you were like a vital, you know, place in my journey, which you probably don't know about. You probably don't know a lot about how I view you or what I've been through. But you know, when I found the chaplaincy ministry and I attended it and things, oh my gosh, I was just like, this is everything that I was looking for. Like I could use this, I could use it in my life, I could use it to help other people, and I feel like equipped, I feel like I have tools, you know, and then you're so approachable that like if I needed, like one day I was gonna do a wedding, and you like, well, yeah, come over.
We'll figure it out.
So I loved that. I needed that, you know, throughout my journey, like somebody that I could like, you know, hey, can I get some help? And you were there. So, but I want you to share, you know, kind of like a little bit of your backstory,
okay.
and then how you became, you know, what you do today and stuff.
Well, hi there, Facebook world. What a joy. And friends of Gloria, you're a friend of mine. And I have a calling to help bring hope and healing, support for people going through hardship. Yeah. That's my mom. Don't have a lot of memory of my mom. She got cancer when I was about 8 years old. This is way back when, and she was in and out of the hospital, a lot of surgeries. Back when I was a child, that was, I think that was before electricity. But anyway, the medical field was, you know, pretty brutal in treating cancer. So my memory of my mom was that she was sick a lot. And I had a great mom. She loved family, but she was in and out of the hospital. And then she finally passed away when I was 12, and that day when you're told your mom has passed sticks with you for the rest of your life. I remember where I was, what I was doing, felt like, everything. And then, so my big sister, 5 years older than me, started taking over the parenting role. You know, she took care of me, cooked for me, took me everywhere. She was, you know, just my best friend. But 3 years after my mom died, when I was 15, my sister was killed in a car accident. So that, you know, hardship either makes you bitter or better. And for me, I just had a desire to help people get through what I had gone through. And I didn't come to faith till I was about 21, reading the Bible, the Gospel of Matthew. And
Yeah.
I had a lot of questions, and so I got plugged in a Bible study group that eventually became a church. And I was studying to become an elementary school teacher. Loved family, loved kids, and got my teaching credential. And my Bible study grew into a church, and then they asked me to be the children's director, youth pastor, then eventually family minister. And so for about 18, 20 years, I did that. And we started a private Christian school.
Yep.
I grew up in a law enforcement family. My dad was a police officer and went through the rank, became police chief. And so here I am working with kids, and lo and behold, 27 years ago, a firefighter died in San Diego, off duty, of cancer. And a firefighter reached out to me and said, hey, could you go help this family and pastor them through this? So I did. And one thing led to another. I ended up doing the memorial service, developed friendship with the family, the chief at the time, Robert Osby, a wonderful man. He said, hey, we need a chaplain. Would you be our chaplain? I didn't know what that was. What do you mean? He just ride along, we'll give you a badge and pager back then, and we'll call you times like this. So I got to know the culture, and I was like, oh my gosh. And now I have an Instagram, and I'm on Facebook, Mickey Stonier. And I'm starting to, I wasn't doing much on social media. And then the Lord ministered to me to tell my story. And so every day, basically, I'm out in the community now because I'm a chaplain for a number of agencies, and police, fire, military. I work with the medical examiner. There was a young child that died this past week. And the fire department calls me, and we have a chaplain corps now where we come alongside the family or the firefighters, first responders, police and fire, to help them process what they're going through. And so this week they responded to a young child. I can't give the details of it, but he had no physical, nothing wrong with him, and in the middle of the night he passed away. And so the firefighters, I helped them walk through how to process this, because a lot of them have young children at home. It hit them hard. And so I'm working with the medical examiner to find out, okay, what happened, that I can help the firefighters know, gosh, they did the best they could, but what happened? And they don't often get closure. So I'm out in the community, just trying to help people. And my daughter has a nonprofit. In fact, any of your viewers would love you to visit her website.
Yes, I would love them to visit her website.
It's www.healingcentersd.com. Healing Center SD for San Diego. And don't know how this happened, but my daughter became a trauma therapist.
Wow.
And so, but she had a calling to really bring God into people's healing. So she closed her practice, very successful practice, Mickey Stonier. And so closed her practice, very successful, and started a nonprofit to bring in spiritual prayer guidance. She has a team she works with, and they do phenomenal work, supernatural. Because what would take years for people to find progress with some of their trauma, anxiety, depression, all of that, it's just a few sessions where God meets them, brings healing. It's for believers. The counseling, it's, the Healing Center SD.com. But people can do virtual, online sessions.
Great,
They can do in-person sessions. They're here in San Diego. And then for pastors, missionaries that are out of the country, they do reduced price. So it's something to work through, something you can apply as a pastor and get some help. And it's phenomenal, some of the stories of healings that have taken place. So my family is all about helping people through crisis. So,
I could
and
see
for
that.
anyone if I can ever be a resource to you to help. I don't know all the answers. I know who does know all the answers. That's the Lord.
Yeah.
But people always ask me, hey, how do I take care of this? Where do I go for this? How can I help this? And I know somebody. Yes. I know God, and I also I network with a lot of people. So, and people just call me. My cell phone, I give it out readily, and text me if I can be of service, 619-843-3100. I give it out to anybody and everybody that I can be of service to.
Yeah, that's so needed. That is so needed. There's a lot of people, like I have pastor friends and missionary friends, and there's kind of this inner circle of trying to get help, and there's kind of no outlet. And so it's nice to have a place where someone can go, that it's not like this ring of trauma going around and around and around. Well, this happened to me, and this happened to me, and this happened to me. But there's no help or equipping. So that's why I like that you referred your daughter, that you have some things that you do. So that's what I want to share out here with my Facebook
Oh yeah,
friends.
I would love for everyone to get trained as you did, and a lot of people come to faith during hardship because they're asking, why is this happening? Where's God in the midst of my pain? And a third of people's Christian testimonies share that it was during crisis, brokenness, loss, and so we do International Critical Incident Stress Foundation. It's certified courses to train people how to help people in crisis. That's all that I do. A lot of classes on grief and chaplaincy, peer support, group crisis intervention, law enforcement. And throughout the year at the Rock Church, we offer these classes. We train up chaplains. We have a whole chaplain corps now for San Diego Fire Rescue that we've trained up of different faith backgrounds, because we have rabbis and priests that can help people in the community that have their faith background, and referrals for other faith perspectives. But it's during times of hardship to bring comfort to people. And that's what I'm called to do. And we haven't fully set up our schedule for next year's training, but it'll be on the website and on my Instagram. Whenever I do courses, I get the word out. But we're just still trying to work on our strategic calendar for next year. We're a little behind the 8 ball here, but I do classes for the fire departments locally, for the county, for the police department. And then we do a special, my chaplain fund. It's called Chaplain Fund. And I have a benevolence fund that I do things for firefighters, police. In fact, this week,
awesome.
as soon as we're done, I have to go shop for a retired firefighter for Coronado. He's retiring in 2 days, so I'm going to be with him tomorrow, have some gifts for him. He'll be in the parade in Coronado on Friday night, 6 o'clock, and then on Monday, where I'm, providing, resources for our chaplain corps, Christmas events, and then throughout San Diego. In fact, TSA, I may be doing a appreciation luncheon for TSA during the holidays.
Good.
Just did something for the harbor police. And for the fire departments, where I'll bring in a taco cart, or we'll do Phil's barbecue and take care of all the troops just to let them know they're loved. In fact, Thursday, Station 5, that's tomorrow, at San Diego Fire Rescue. They're up in Hillcrest area. It's Washington, between Washington and University Avenue on 9th, San Diego Fire Station 5's. We're providing lunch for the fire crew, and a wonderful man who went through all the city processes. He's landscaping fire stations because they have to be drought tolerant, and the city has turned off the water to save money for all their fire city properties, and which is a good thing for the drought. But he's going around, got his own funding. And has got a crew that goes in and just re-landscape. It's beautiful. And so our chaplain corps, we're going to be there with him to thank the firefighters there on, I think it's A Division tomorrow. But they're going to, we're going to, my chaplain fund, we're going to furnish lunch for the firefighters and workers.
Yeah.
Then they're going to tear it up for the next couple of weeks and just bless the city.
Yeah, I work alongside of a lot of the emergency services, and especially the fire brigade. And when they're on the scene, I'm like, "Do you know Mickey Stonier?" And they're all like, "Yeah, they all know you."
Yeah,
well, "Oh yeah, we know that guy."
Been around for a while.
So I'm always like, "Oh yeah, he's my trainer." I got this little cheeky little thing that I say.
With a name like Mickey, I can always say it's the happiest place on earth.
And you never forget that name. Yeah. So, hey guys, if you're there and you're online, do a comment or something, because sometimes I don't get to see who's there or anything. So let me know if you have any questions. Also, you can pop some questions in there as well. But Mickey, I knew when I heard you at the Rock Church, you were talking, they asked you to speak for one of the 9/11 memorials or remembrance days or whatever they're called. And you got up there, and that was when I first realized that you were on scene and one of the responders. Can you share with me something that was like a only God moment?
Well, a lot of those moments, ministering.
I can just only imagine.
I was on a response team as a chaplain for airline disasters, commercial airlines. Initially, it was called the Spiritual Care Aviation Incident Response Team, but the acronym spelled SCARE, SCAIR. So we were the SCARE team. We thought, no, that's probably not a good name. Hey, the SCARE team is here. So they changed it. This was led by the NTSB, and they partnered with the Red Cross. And so they called it Spiritual Response Team, CERT team, different from other CERT, C-E-R-T teams with fire department. But we were trained and on call for major commercial airline disasters. And my month, and a local pastor, Mike McIntosh, an amazing shepherd and pastor, and also a chaplain for the police. He helped get me invited into this team. I was the only fire chaplain. Everyone else was law enforcement chaplains. But our month we signed up to be on call was September. So the month of September each year, if there was a plane crash in the month of September, we would be deployed to go, and there were 8 chaplains that would serve at the crash site, ground zero, and the medical examiner in that local area. So, of course, 2001, our pagers lit up on the 11th, and we had to get on military flights or commercial when they opened up. To get to New York, so we were there to coordinate with the Family Assistance Center. There, first it was at the Armory, and then got moved to Pier 94, and then at Ground Zero, serving there at Ground Zero for the search and rescue teams, and then at the morgue, at the temporary morgue that was set up. That was just overwhelming, and so we served for 2 weeks, first 2 weeks. From the 12th of September till the 27th was our term, and then a team came in after us. But there were a lot of God movements. One of the things, part of our team was there when they found that cross. It was in a building. Building got blown out, and the steel beams formed a cross. And that's now in the 9/11 museum, that cross.
Oh, wow.
And so the steel beam that was there. And part of our group was there when, they came across this, and that became a sign. And what a lot of people wouldn't know, just a couple of us, but one of my roles at Ground Zeroes, when a body was discovered from a first responder, police or fire, the whole site would stop at the pile, and very honoring, everything would stop. They would, a very dignified service, they would put the individual in a body bag, and then a crane would lift the individual to a site where I was, or on the other site where Chaplain McIntosh was. And so we would, be there to comfort the responders and then to pray for the individual's family and friends. And so the chief at Ground Zero, he let us know. He says, you need to know, Chaplain. He said, he called me Fada, which is father, Fada, with a New York heavy accent. He said, Fada, you need to know, we're all Catholic on this department. Yeah. He said, even if we're Buddhist, we're also Catholic, because it was part of their culture. Yeah. And so we made sure to do the sign of the cross, and our prayers were in the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Ghost, in honoring of their culture. But so at the site I was, right there at Ground Zero, that's where the bodies would be placed. Then we would pray for everyone, and they gave us holy water to sprinkle the body bag, and then they would be put on a emergency vehicle with the lights going. They'd take the body off site, very dignified, everyone standing at attention. And then as soon as they were off site, everyone would go back to work. So a year later, I went back, because we were doing some ongoing follow-up as a church there in New York. And a year later, I went back, and no one would have known this except for those that were serving that day. The cross that they had found in a building was brought to the site and was placed on a precipice overlooking the pit as it started to go down. And the cross, where they placed it, was the very site we were praying for the families. That's where the bodies were taken. No one would have known that except for a few of us that served there. Yeah. And so, gosh, it just gave me chills. 1 year later, went back, and there's the cross right where I was serving. And now that cross is in the museum of 9/11, which is a very sobering experience. So, so a lot of unique moments, a lot of personal time with search and rescue crews, making sure they're taking care of themselves, praying for family members out and about in the community. It was, again, that was over 2 decades ago. So, but that was a major event in our human history, our country's history, world history. But you know what? That family that just lost a 4-year-old last week, that was a 9/11 event for them. And just as significant to the many that lost loved ones, that family was horrifically impacted because of the crisis they went through. And so it's important to have trained people to be with people going through a crisis, because all those 9/11, in fact, studies show that in our country, you've been through a horrific traumatic event. Could be divorce, loss of job, financial crisis, illness that's been life-threatening. You've either been through one, or you're in the midst of it right now, or you will. Trauma doesn't seem to miss anybody. No. And severe trauma, 90% of our U.S. population will experience a major crisis in their lifetime. So that's why I'm all about training people, Christians, how to take care of people and love people. Don't just go preach at people.
Exactly.
Got to go love people and be there to serve. And if the conversation opens up where they ask questions and need help with their faith, because people's worldview during times of crisis, sometimes people ask a lot of questions, and it's important to have people there to lovingly lead people in those conversations, and not to push or preach or hit people overhead with the Bible. You want to
such a good word.
Love people.
Yeah. There's talking about world. Shalom, Olivia here. I see you there, homegirl. She's watching from Wales.
Wow.
Yeah.
Love the British Isles. I've done some training for Northern Ireland. Trained their chaplain corps there and their peer support. Yeah, that's for Belfast Fire Department, Northern Ireland Fire Service. Good friends there. Haven't been to Wales. Been Scotland, England, and Ireland, Northern Ireland as well.
That is amazing. Yeah, I didn't know that you trained over there in Ireland.
Oh, I train all over the country, all over the world, yes.
Wow, yeah. That's
I have
amazing.
a training. Hey, if you want to join me, well, it's actually close. It's with the Office of Emergency Services. Training peer support, crisis intervention for the Hurricane Center there in Florida, in Volusia County. So
wow.
I've done 2. I'm doing 2 more, one in January, one in April, but I do a 3-day workshop and train them how to care for their police fire coworkers and how to help the community.
You know, I also have friends that are in Ukraine and a couple of chaplains that are over there working in Ukraine as well.
Gee, do you know anyone that went over to minister to the people in Ukraine?
I do, yeah.
Oh, yeah, you did. What a heart. What a great heart you have.
Yeah.
It's just on your own, just navigating through and being there in Poland with the refugees.
It started with you put out the email and said, through the organization Cry. And then I was like, you know what, I think I want to do this one. I think I want to fly out because I was going to bounce around. I was going to go to London where my daughter lives. And then I knew friends in Poland. And then I was going to cross over. But in the whole process, I started linking up with people. And I met people all over. It turned out that I met another Londoner, a chaplain from New Zealand, some former military guy doing the demining. Ryan Hendricks is over there now, and just so many different people.
What a great heart, yeah. But I always encourage people, don't undertake things all by yourself.
No, I know.
You want to be a team and have some
lesson.
support for you, because otherwise we can get overwhelmed. But it looked like God brought a lot of people around you to work in harmony with others. So
Yeah. Thank you so much. You guys, do you have any questions? Hey, do you have any questions? There was somebody from Africa. I have a friend who was in Ghana, and he was super interested in, in this interview today. But he'll probably pop in. Maybe the time
I did some
zones.
work in Uganda. It was a medical relief back in the day. Beautiful country. Africa's huge.
Yeah.
So much variety and so much need, as in our country as well, helping people through hardship.
Yeah. What is one thing that through the many years that you've been doing, training and things like that, what is a big takeaway for you? What do you go home with?
Well, it's our chaplain ministry at The Rock. I got called into this because of a firefighter that had given his life because of cancer, which is a lot of firefighters have health problems from, the older crews. They weren't up on all the safety things with cancer and all the carcinogens. Now things are a lot better organized, but the older groups, a lot of hardship there. But I got called into this field, and I got a lot of training through the International Critical Incident Stress Foundation. I became a trainer myself, and now I'm on the ICISF faculty, so they send me around the country as well to train other groups. But as I started training people, I was like, gosh, every believer needs to know how to help people through hardship. It's like the Bible, that's what Jesus did. People were hungry, people were needy. Matthew 25, visiting people in prison, in jail, and the poor, orphans, widows, everyone. It's during those times of hardship, and how to come alongside and appropriately serve people, identify what's happening. But it dawned on me that, gosh, everyone could be a chaplain. You could be a chaplain in your neighborhood. You could be a chaplain at your workplace. You could be a chaplain where you play out in the community. You can be a chaplain with an agency that with fire, police, and different crisis response organizations. And so that's what we do at The Rock. We train people to become chaplains and try to encourage people to consider their places of influence where they could be of service to people they live with. My family and in my class, I share this, but we're constantly trying to do things for our neighbors. And we've let people know we're the chaplain for our neighborhood and our zip code. And there's different apps that are out there, for your neighborhood apps. And we self-proclaim we're the chaplain in our zip code. And my wife has a prayer ministry for her zip code. And people reach out to us. We've sponsored a lunch for all of our neighbors to just come when COVID finally opened up. And we hosted, there's a company that has fire engine that they made into a pizza oven. And so the whole neighborhood came out. We gave them free lunch. They had salad and beverage and pizza out of the back of the fire engine. And then the local fire station came down with their fire engine, had lunch with everybody. And we had almost 100 people, neighbors that didn't know each other, that now got to know each other. And that's what being a chaplain is. You're just loving people intentionally. I just posted on my Instagram and Facebook, we have 4 guys, and then they had a friend that came over as new neighbors. We invited them over for dinner, and they're all military. They're Annapolis graduates for the Naval Academy. They're young and have their whole life ahead of them, their career. One of them wants to be a Top Gun pilot. Another one, they have one's going to be a Navy SEAL. It's going to go through the Navy SEAL process, and hopefully we'll make it. But we started talking, and they've come to church now here at The Rock and checking it out. Just great guys. Good looking. Someone texted me because there was a picture of these guys, my new neighbors that we had over for dinner. They were like, "How do I get invited over?" I go, "Hey, they're half your age, okay?" Of course, 40 is now the new 20. And so I don't know if you can pull that off, but we started chatting. And so they're going to come over to our house in a couple of weeks again, just to sit around after dinner, have dessert, and talk about mental health and spiritual health, because they're going on the front lines. They're going to be committed to a career that can be potentially challenging with what you're faced with. And so I want to help prepare them, hey, advanced education in PTSD, some of these things, and moral injury. When you know these things ahead of time, it helps prepare you, equip you, so you don't become a victim to some of the hardships you'll be exposed to. So I'm looking forward to that. So some of my training with my neighbor, but that's being a chaplain, And then I've helped write policy for people in their place where you work. We train people, and I have policy to help establish a program for peer support, chaplaincy in the workplace. And we have certain companies that we have chaplains that have been trained here that now in their workplace, they look out for all the other employees and clients, and they serve in the area of care. And in fact, a couple of my favorites. One is we have one of our chaplains works in a veterinarian office, and she's a pet hospice chaplain.
I've met her.
She started ministry in her veterinary office and cares for people. So wherever we have a roller derby chaplain, we have airline chaplains, all kinds of things. And then helping with hospitals and hospice and police and fire, we've trained up a lot of people.
That's wonderful. Shalom is always making jokes.
And he's single, they're all single. All 5 of these guys for the neighbors. So go check out my Instagram. And then just text me. I'll give you the address. You can go knock and deliver some goodies to them, all the way from Wales. So she's a friend of mine. So I am so excited. I mean, you just gave us a gold mine of all kinds of interesting ideas and places to get resources. I'm just so blessed
that you're here.
And I'm a resource. So if anyone who gets the recording or is Shalom, let's do a training in Wales. I would love that.
Yes, I've been talking to her about that. She's we're on another talk show called Tough Talk, and she's one of the girls of the Tough Talk, and she's invited me into a group, and so we've all become friends from this British talk show.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's a Christian British talk show, and it's been really good, and we can do that. Shalom, get this guy out there to Wells.
Yeah. Well, anyway, it's been nice having this time with you, and pray that more and more people can really catch a vision that your neighbor, you can be an answer to someone's prayer for your neighbor. I realize that someone's praying for somebody that lives near me, and as I open up my life, my home, and be of service to my neighbors, we're actually an answer to someone's prayer. And the privilege when firefighters call you up and say, hey, chaplain, can we talk? And I've had many come to faith, just wanting to help people know they're cared for and loved. And then eventually they want to know, okay, there's more to life than just this physical existence. And to be able to explain God's plan. And God's not religious. God is love. And the gospel is not just a cute story. It's reality. And the truth of God's love gave his own son that we could have forgiveness and life. And so God wants a relationship. That's what it's about. So love what you're doing, love who you are, and keep doing the good work and turning your pain into a blessing for others, helping others through what you've been through. So what a joy. Thank you.
Amen. Well, thank you for being here.
Yes.
And thanks, guys, for being here. And we'll go for now. Bye. Peace out.
Peace in your heart.
Amen.